And now, coming to you live from some random place in Austin, Texas, it is the Second Annual JadedBen Awards. Please welcome your host for the evening, JadedBen.
Never stop when you want them to, do they? Well, hey, it's good to see you again. My name is JadedBen, and welcome to the Second Annual JadedBen Awards, where we're going to talk about the best and the worst albums of 2025 and a whole lot of stuff in between. I think we had a wonderful 2025. How about you, Scaly Boy?
Cut it with the optimism. 2025 sucked and you know it. At least we got some good music this year.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of come clean a little bit with this year. I kind of had a tough time finding a lot of music that really stuck with me this year. That isn't to say that there wasn't any. It just felt like, compared to the previous year where I had over 250 albums, this year was a little bit more of a letdown. I did kind of go back to a lot of older stuff. And hopefully that'll lead me to discovering some new stuff in the future. We only listened to 112 albums this year, which was down almost 50% from the year previous. But hey, we've still got a bunch of records to talk about. We're going to do the same format as we did last year, where I've got a bunch of miscellaneous awards. Then we're going to go through some awards with some placement that didn't exactly make the top 10. Then we're going to go through our top 10 and finishing with our album of the year. Anyways, with that being said, let's start off with our first award for the video, the Venue of the Year Award. Much like last year, had a lot of awesome places we visited over the span of the year, and I feel like this award really didn't have a chance of going anywhere else. I know last year, once this venue closed out, I did say I was going to rename the award. I didn't rename the award. They came back. The winner of the Venue of the Year award is The Lost Well. Once again, we went a grand total of 6 times. We saw 19 awesome bands, including bands such as Master, Cruciamentum, Holder, Perdition Temple, Desolus, and so many, many, many more awesome bands. We've got a bunch of shows planned in the very, very near future, some as early as early January. So, hey, you're going to be seeing a lot more of that soon. The Lost Well is continuously my home away from home, especially here in Austin for the heavy metal scene. Honorable mention is going to go to Mohawk, where we saw a good number of shows as well, such as Portrayal of Guilt, Maul, and a bunch of awesome, really, really cool bands as well. So I'm going to give them the nod this year as well, just because I feel like there were 2 really good spots. Other than that, we were just kind of sporadically all over the place. But hey, Lost Well, congratulations once again, 2-time winner of the Venue of the Year award. Next up, we're going to start with a brand new award for this year that ties into basically the previous award. That is the Live Performance of the Year award. This particular award, I'm going to name 10, and then I'm going to give you 1 prime recipient. I filmed a bunch of these, so if you do hear a band that you haven't heard of, check them out on my channel. I'm going to do maybe a small little playlist. I'll probably link to it down in the description as well. But hey, this is my call to you. If you have not seen these bands live, go out of your way to do so. These were my 10 favorite performances of the year. Vide, Undergong, Haywire, Tribal Gaze, Drouth, Cruciamentum, Dead Guy, Gourd Embrace, Missouri Executive Order 44, and the winner of this year's award is Beharit. We saw them in Houston, Texas on September 20th, 2025 with a bunch of awesome openers such as Imprecation, Unholier, Morbozadad, True Iron Will. Just an absolutely incredible show top to bottom. I can tell you, standing at the White Oak Music Hall on the balcony, taking it all in just before Beharit started, it felt surreal. It felt like I could not believe that I was there. But alas, I was there. I recorded their full set. Link to it in the description. Go watch it. Just an absolutely incredible experience. Met a lot of awesome people there. It was easily one of my favorite live performances of the entire year. All of those bands are definitely worth your time. Go and check them out. Go and support them. Go see them on tour. Support live music. Support your local scenes as well, too, because that's where a bunch of these bands come from. Anyways, let's move on to a contentious award that we gave out last year, and I said I didn't want to have to do this again. But in an ever-growing world of technology, this award was bound to happen once again. I'm talking about the AI artwork badge of shame. Much like last year, there were a bunch of bands that relied on AI artwork, AI promotion, and not paying real artists. So, we're going to go again from least offender to worst offender with a prime recipient, much like last year. So, screw all of these artists, screw all of these bands, screw AI. Simple as that. So, the least offender is Dream Theater with Parasomnia and a bunch of tour material. I put this one last because it is unconfirmed if the band uses AI explicitly or not. I have my suspicions that they do. A bunch of people have their suspicions that the artist that they pay does use AI. And until that is outright confirmed by the band or the artist itself, I'm going to kind of leave this one in a gray area. I may rescind this award later. We may double down on it next year. I don't know. But either way, still shouldn't be doing that.
Hey, it's JadedBen here. Just realized I left off Bone Collector by Gravedigger on this list. I really felt like I needed to talk about it. Not as bad as some of the other ones on this list here, but I mean, come on, that skeleton has 6 fingers. I mean, clearly, you can see it. But, I mean, still something I wanted to talk about on this list, and I didn't want to leave it off the list either, so.
Igor with their ADHD music video. This one was very similar to the Mortis Scold one that we had last year, where this was human elements that was went over with an AI filter. To me, this was a very oddball use of AI. Like, I get, obviously, there was human elements to it, but once I read the interview kind of breaking apart the use of it and what exactly went into it, it felt to me that the artist kind of gave up on a stylistic choice and told AI to do it. That's just my personal belief on the matter. If you feel differently, that is perfectly okay. But for me, I just feel like they were going for something, couldn't quite achieve it, and they let AI do it, which just doesn't feel genuine to me. Then that's just the only issue I have with it. Ice 9 Kills with 2 AI adverts promoting a sort of summer sale, and then also their sort of response to it, which was them posting an AI image of the band, basically all cartooned up and whatnot. It just, to me, also felt very disingenuous. It didn't feel like the band was being honest about it, and I feel like they were just kind of like, you know, using this for controversy more than anything. And it felt like once they got called out for it, I feel like they were kind of making fun of people for calling them out on it, which I feel like if you are self-respecting artists, if you actually, you know, care about the work that you do, I feel like paying people to do promotional material should be the least you can do. So, I don't know, it just felt like a marketing ploy to me. So, a little higher up on the list here, Megadeth album announcement video. Very, very, very obvious uses of AI. You can probably see the hourglass on the table, on the desk where Vic Rattlehead is announcing the album. The sand does not look right. A bunch of it just looks very strange. I can probably put a few keyframes up on the screen here too, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of people that have kind of broken it apart, but it just seems lazy, especially with this being the band's final album. I was very hyped when they announced it. Once I saw that this was going to be the band's final album, I watched the announcement video, and I hate to say I have to temper my expectations a little bit. I feel like, unfortunately, I'm not quite as hyped as I was before. The singles haven't done much for me either, but hey, maybe we'll talk about it later this year. Maybe I'll come around on a full circle and I'll look like a fool. But hey, that's for them to do and for me to find out. Dark Angel with their album artwork. It started with the covers, got a lot of backlash for the singles, so I figured the band might have corrected course on it. Keep in mind, this was a band's return after 30 plus years. So to come back, use AI, and then just kind of dismiss it, just felt like a massive gut punch to those that were really excited about the band's reunion. I didn't really care for much for the album either, so unfortunately I just feel like it was another added scratch to the surface that I feel like I was looking at and, you know, getting the bigger picture. It's just like a tear in the corner. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why the band decided to go that route. They easily could have paid an artist, and it probably wouldn't have been as malignly received. I mean, the album was okay. Some people really liked it, some people didn't. I kind of didn't. But I feel like that was just kind of another stain that I didn't really want to have to draw attention to. And then finally, the prime recipient goes to Death to All. There were two major instances of this. The first one was the tour poster that they did for the, I believe it was the Symbolic Healing Tour off the top of my head. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it on the screen there. But as you can see, the poster there is pretty AI. And basically, I was going to just draw the line there, but then I followed them on Instagram for sort of the tour announcements and whatnot, so I did see that right as it came out. But then I also saw a video that showed Death, the band. I'll put the picture on screen, the original picture on screen. So this particular image, somebody decided to run through an AI filter and get Chuck to talk, which just made my skin crawl. Just something about that just felt disrespectful, just felt vile. I can't really describe it. Chuck passed away 24, 25 years now, and that's what we're doing now. Would he want this? No, I don't think so. So, if anyone can find anything that proves me wrong there, please feel free to let me know. I'd be very, very interested in reading what possible stance on that might be. But I know this wasn't created by the band itself, but it was certainly reshared and reposted on their account too. So unfortunately, that seemed to me like the band was condoning it. So for just making me feel disgusting, unfortunately they're going to be the prime recipient this year. That is not something I wanted to talk about this year in any form. So Death to All, AI artwork badge of shame, prime recipient. Don't do this again, guys. Seriously. 2026 is shaping up to probably be even worse for AI. We're seeing a lot of AI integration in our world. So hey, I'd like to remind you, we are humans. So it is only fair to support other humans. You can use AI as tools. You can use it for every little mundane tasks. But once you take the job of a human, you won't be getting any support from me. And that's where I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Let's kind of get out of that rut just a little bit with another new award, the most anticipated of 2026. We got a lot to look forward to next year. We got a lot of AI artwork to look forward to, but we've also got a lot of really, really awesome releases to look forward to in the very, very near future. So again, I'm just going to name 10. There's going to be no prime recipient for this one. So any of these 10 bands are worth checking out, and as soon as they drop, you will hear me talk about it here on the channel. I am talking about Sanity Slip. They've got an album announced in January. Eternal played a number of new songs. I spoke with the band after their performance, which I recorded, and they said they're going to have a new album out this year. Lunar Chamber has been working on their new album. I believe they actually just entered the studio not too long ago, but I spoke with the band in 2024 and confirmed that they were going to be working on stuff either late this year or the beginning of next year. So it's looking like it's going to be the beginning of next year. Varanth. My dudes in Varanth. I did the tape for them, Jaded 006C. If you see them live, go and pick up the tape. They're going to put some copies up on Bandcamp soon, as far as I know. But either way, definitely worth checking out. They mentioned that they've got another album coming up soon, and I may have a little hand in that, so stay tuned. You're going to find out about that here on the channel. Thaw. I just spoke about them in my last Wax Showcase video with their album Forged in Chaotic Spew. The band played a brand new song when we saw them in 2024. The band dropped a live EP featuring that brand new song, and goddamn is it heavy. Seriously, that is going to probably be one of the heaviest releases of next year, and I can guarantee that. Spider God put out the Murder Machine EP late this year, featuring 2 songs that are going to be on the next album. He's confirmed a 2026 release date for that. Spear Siege, my good friends in Spear Siege. Mr. Jacob Holmes has been talking very, very recently about recording the latest EP, and that'll probably be out sometime in the beginning of this year. I've got a full set of theirs coming up in 2026 as well, so stay tuned for that. But some of those tracks are going to be on that, and let me tell you from personal experience, seeing those tracks twice, good lord, it's going to be insane. Definitely worth checking out. Brass Camel, a little prog metal band that I discovered through the Mizora covers on the fly. They covered Sabrina Carpenter's Please, 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 and then I went through and listened to their next album that came out just after that. Man, those dudes can play. Seriously, I'm very, very excited. They're working on their third LP. They're documenting it on their YouTube channel. I'll link their YouTube channel down in the description if I remember to do so, but either way, you should go check them out. Skilm. They dropped an EP called Belt Fed Assault earlier this year and mentioned that a couple of those songs are going to be on their debut album coming out later this year in early 2026. So I have a feeling we're going to get some news on that soon. Highly recommend checking those guys out as well on Iron Fortress Records. And finally, my sort of recent super hype, I'm talking about Necropalace by Worm. When I wrote this list, that album was not announced yet. Now it has been announced. I have pre-ordered a copy. I'll be sure to talk about it on the Wax Showcase video. If you haven't listened to those 2 singles yet, go ahead and do so. I feel like this is going to be some of the band's best work to date. So any of those 10 releases are definitely going to be worth your time, and I'm going to be talking about them right here on the channel when they eventually arrive. Okay. Scumbags of the Year. Brand new award again. This one, again, not a prime recipient. We're just going to go down the list here, and we're going to shame some people for being absolute scumbags, absolute asshats, disgusting human beings. And I would like to leave all of this behavior in 2025 and hope that 2026 doesn't have a list as long as this one. Tim Lambesis of As I Lay Dying. For being an animal abuser and a wife abuser, and for just being an overall shit human being. Seriously, we probably should have left him behind after he tried to kill his wife a number of years ago. I'm surprised the man still has a platform. This most recent video clip of him hitting his dog is just disgusting. Patrick Mamnelli for defending AI artwork so vehemently and ruining the band's reputation with a lot of conservative rhetoric. Just why? Just dragging the band through the mud. One of the most respected death metal bands of yesteryear, not just kind of being run through the mud by their vocalist who can't seem to control himself. Stephen Kummerer of Obscura for stealing riffs from former bandmates and doing a piss poor job at explaining why. Definitely seems like your bandmates didn't seem to agree with your sense of fair. So, didn't really enjoy that album anyways, even with the stolen riffs. So I'm like, was it really worth it? I don't think so. Sebastian Bach, solo project X Skid Row, for just being an asshole to his fans. I understand setting boundaries and stuff like that, but cursing your fans out for wanting an interaction with you instead of just being polite about it just rubs me the wrong way. So, not the worst in the world, but man, just why? David Draymond of Disturbed for being an absolute Zionist loser with a persecution complex. Like, come on. His whole feud with Kneecap can basically just be summed up as, I don't want to listen to you, I don't want to have a conversation with you about anything. He signed Bombs, for God's sake. I'm sick. I hate the fact that I ever liked that band because of what he believes now. Just, it's disgusting. Glenn Danzig of Danzig and the Misfits for selling Nazi-coded merchandise featuring the Black Sun and the Sun Wheel. I'm not going to put it on screen, but you can find an image of it pretty easily if you search for it online. Like, did no one go through this at all? Like, seriously? Like, just disgusting. Kyle Rasmussen of Vitriol. Too many nose beers, my guy. Cut it out. Seriously. The fact that he is just a cracked out narcissist, indulging in nose beers, being verbally and sometimes physically abusive towards bandmates, and then somehow to wrap it off, stealing $11,000 from fans to get home, when he easily could have sold one of his many custom guitars that he brags about on his Instagram to make up for the losses. Disgusting. How are people supporting him during this? If you gave him any amount of money, take a look in the mirror. Don't do that. Joseph Schultz of Peacemaker FL for being a pedophile. Yikes. Speaking of pedophile and sexual abuser, Justin Lacey of Brand New. You can read Ayana's Medium post about it. Really shouldn't be that hard to find. Just search brand new allegations 2025 and you'll see what I'm talking about, because all of this stuff coming to light just does not rub me the right way. It was a tough read, and because I have morals where I feel like Justin Lacey does not have morals. He apologized, the band disbanded, and that should have been the end of that. Now the band is back and everybody's treating it like the greatest thing on planet Earth. Sorry, he's back in the limelight again on a platform that he abused to do all these sick and disgusting things that got them removed in the first place. I'm done with that. Danny Filth, Cradle of Filth, for not paying his musicians. Seriously, I have 6 people suing you for not paying your musicians. That should just be musician number 1. Musicianship rule number 1. If you hire people, pay them. Maybe he'll get some AI people to step in on the next tour and they won't complain. And finally, the last member on this list, Anthony Webster, ex-member of Gel. I say ex-member because the band disbanded. The dude stole money from the band, posted nudes of the band members online without consent, numerous erratic behaviors such as driving the van and nearly getting them in wrecks on tour, and caused the band to break up, which sucks. I really enjoyed that band. I wanted to see them live one of these days. I own a bunch of their stuff, so unfortunately, we're not going to get to really enjoy that going forward, thanks to Mr. Webster. Those are my scumbags of the year. Let's leave all of that behavior behind in 2025 and move forward to 2026, where we can all be better people. I know you're better than that. You're watching this video, you're better than that. Okay. Now, it's time to get into some awards with placement. But we're not quite out of the rut yet. We're going to be kind of on an upswing from here on out. The biggest disappointment award goes to Patriarch, Prophet Ilya, released in January. I believe it was on Napalm Records, off the top of my head. This placed 102nd out of 112. So not the bottom of the list, not my worst album of the year. Man, this felt bad. Seriously. After the long legal battle that Batushka had been intertwined in, this felt lazy. This felt bad. This felt like a quantity over quality situation. Much like his Batushka stuff, am I right? He should have spent more time working on this album instead of fighting for a band name that wasn't his, that he stole. And I'm not really excited about this band going forward. Not going to say I'm not going to listen to their stuff, but it's going to take a lot to get me to really check them out again. So, it's a shame. I was really, really interested to see if the band was going to reinvent themselves after losing the Batushka name and becoming Patriarch. I was thinking, hey, onwards and upwards, right? We can look past all this drama. We can move forward. Awful. Absolutely terrible. I can understand why a bunch of people kind of ran his music through the mud, because it's garbage. Okay, now we're on to the positive stuff. The Hometown Spirit Award goes to True Iron Will with Spirit of Steel, released on October 31st on Nuclear War Now Records. This placed number 27 out of 112. Cody and a bunch of the members in True Iron Will are just some of the nicest human beings I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. We saw these dudes twice this year, though they opened for a lot of really, really awesome bands. They opened for Beharit in Houston. They opened for Tormentor earlier this year. They opened for Profanatica earlier this year. They opened for Holder on their record release show at the Lost Well in Austin, Texas. My brother actually got Cody to sign that record as well, which is really, really fucking cool. So, seriously, they're one of the best black metal bands going in Austin, Texas right now. And if you haven't heard this record yet, definitely go out of your way to do so, because it's just a really good old school black metal record. Absolutely incredible. Can't wait to see what these guys have planned next. I hope to catch them many more times in the years to come. The Best Guitar Solo Award goes to Heavens That Burn and Eons Divide by Morbicon off their album Lost Within the Ancestral Crypts, released November 21st on Tank Crimes Records. This placed number 25 out of 112. One of my favorite black metal releases of the year. Just absolutely insane. So many awesome combinations of black metal, punk rock, melodic death metal, thrash metal. Just so good. This particular solo that I'm referencing, I'm talking about the 3-minute 17-second timestamp, reminds me a lot of At the Gates. It reminds me a lot of Slaughter of the Soul. Specifically, go through and listen to it again. Timestamp on the screen here. Definitely go and check it out. It has such an awesome atmosphere, and then a nice return to the intro line. Sort of reminds me of like Killing Room era Spider God, which is just like some of my favorite music ever. I bet you there's probably a bunch of other bands that do the same thing, but I feel like this was the best to my ears this year. One of my favorite black metal albums of 2025. Definitely worth checking out if you can. Go buy a copy. Go support Tank Crimes. Go support Morbicon. Yeah, great release. Well deserved.
I'm sick of you presenting all these awards. It's my turn. Let me present one. The best breakdown of the year goes to Smiling from Their Chariots by Tribal Gaze, off their album Thang Brilliance, released October 17th on Nuclear Blast Records. I mean, come on, listen to that first section. It makes me want to kill something. Makes me want to kill this stupid host, ranked at number 15 on his list, but somehow forgot to put it on the script. Anyways, trust me, it shakes me down to my very bones, and I know the stupid host enjoyed it just as much as I did. Anyways, back to hip. Congratulations, Tribal Gaze.
My split release of the year. Coming in at the number 13 spot, Ritual Fog and Chaos Relic. Released on August 26th on Iron Fortress Records. Just absolutely bone-crushing, mind-numbing, caveman death metal. Straight up. Just absolutely insane. I'm waiting on my cassette copy to arrive very soon, but I was already a massive fan of Ritual Fog. We saw them at Awesome Death Fest. I listened to their demo the year prior, and now these dudes are just absolutely on fire. Chaos Relic I had not heard up to this point, but man, I'm gonna go back through their back catalog after listening to the split release. These dudes have some serious power as well. Such an awesome release to chuck together, and I can see big things for both of these guys going forward. Hopefully they have some new music coming up in the very near future. Go and support them, go buy a tape. Again, I'll link to it down in the description. Okay. Are y'all ready? Top 10 time. This is where the fun stuff happens. Number 10. And the Killer Concept Award goes to Kayonashi, I Want to Go Home. Released on June 6th on Equal Vision Records. Hardcore from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is the final album in a 3-part narrative of the Lemon House, with so many numerous callbacks to the band's previous works in their series, documenting trauma, teenage emotions, and crises of identity. This record is something that definitely grew on me over time. I was introduced to this band by G of Spider God, who saw them live and then absolutely told us all about it in the Discord, and I went through and listened to it. At first, liked the musicianship, the vocals were definitely an acquired taste, but over time, I just kept coming back to it. Something about it just hooked me in. Something about the narrative hooked me in. Something about the music hooked me in. The vocals grew on me. It was kind of like Knocked Loose, where I didn't really like the vocals at first, and then I really liked it because it fit the music so damn well. It fit the narrative so damn well. Some of the best songs on here, such as Red Sink, Yellow Tea, Slower Forms of Suicide, and Elephant in the Room, just prove that this was easily one of the best hardcore records of the year. I loved the concept. I'm definitely going back through the band's earlier material, even more so in 2026, and I can't wait for them to come back through Austin, Texas at some point. Kayonashi, I Want to Go Home, taking the number 10 spot. Number 9, Brain Matter, Divine Opulence. Released on February 7th on Iron Fortress Records. Just some absolutely mind-numbing hardcore and old-school death metal from Fort Worth, Texas. These dudes have such an awesome blend of the two, and it's just fucking insane. We had the pleasure of catching them opening for Flesh Rot and Gordon Brace earlier this year, or later this year, December. Absolutely incredible performance. Such awesome gentlemen. Seriously, I see massive things for this band going forward. I cannot wait for their debut LP to drop sometime, probably in the next year, maybe two. But seriously, I can see big things coming from these guys. I feel like these guys are the future of the Texas death metal scene. These dudes were in contention for so many awards this year too. They were honorable mentions for the best breakdown, the best riff, and the Heat Seeker award, which just goes to show you that I really, really enjoyed this record, top to bottom. This is a nice EP that comes in at about 18 minutes long. Just absolutely incredible. If you have your chance to go and listen to it, please do so. Go and support these guys. Absolutely fucking incredible. Some favorite tracks of mine on this: Looking Toward the Throne, Spawning Hades, and Divine Opulence, the title track. Just awesome death metal. If you enjoy death metal mixed with a little bit of hardcore, this is definitely going to be the release for you. And a solid number 9 pick, Divine Opulence, Brain Matter. Number 8. And my EP of the year goes to Corpse Pile, In the Beginning. Released on October 3rd on Maggot Stomp Records. Some death metal from Houston, Texas. These dudes share a lot of similarities to Brain Matter, and the reason I'm only giving this to Corpse Pile over Brain Matter is that I feel like I gelled with these tracks just a little bit more, and I feel like it was much more of a constant through the later half of the year. I listened to the Brain Matter right as it came out, but I listened to Corpse Pile sometime thereafter, and then it just kind of stuck with me through the rest of the year, where I feel like I rediscovered the Brain Matter EP towards the end of the year. So I feel like those two could be interchangeable, but this is definitely a worthy pick as well. These guys were also the honorable mention for the Heat Seeker Award. Just diabolical, heavy breakdowns, death metal riffs. The vocals are just disgusting. I feel like I haven't heard anything quite like it. I feel like it reminds me of like how I felt when I listened to Dying Fetus for the very first time. Good lord. We saw them open for Sanguisugabog. We saw them open for Torture. Twice this year. Some of the best performances I've seen all year long. These tracks hit hard live, they hit hard in the studio. Best tracks on it: Fed to the Stars, Professional, and Vengeful Aims. There's a bunch more also on there too that are definitely worth checking out, but those are just 3 of my favorites. Congratulations, Corpse Pile, EP of the year. Corpse Pile, In the Beginning. Number 7. Clairvoyance, Chasm of Immurement. Released on July 18th on Carbonized Records from Warsaw, Poland. These dudes are just some of the most diabolical, heavy riffs I've heard the entire year. Basically, immolation, incantation, and any other form of cavernous death metal that you've enjoyed over the last number of years rolled into one, and then taken all the best parts of that, picked them out, put them on a platter, delivered them to you, stuffed them right in your face until you choked on it, and it gave you the Heimlich maneuver, put you in a headlock, and chucked you out the window. I know that's a lot. Man, is it cool. Just absolutely monstrous death metal from top to bottom. The 3 songs that I picked, Hymn of the Befouled, Reign of Silence, and Monument to Dread, had my neck sore for like days after listening to that album for the first time. Just absolutely diabolical. I cannot wait for those guys to come through the United States at some point down the line. Seriously, insane. Carbonized knows how to pick some really, really good music. They didn't drop a lot of records on Carbonized this year, but I feel like this one stood out the most. Clairvoyance, Chasm of Immurement. Number 6. And the Heat Seeker Award goes to Gourd Embrace, in the presence of a Malevolent Soul, released January 16th on Iron Fortress Records, also giving highest placement to my label of the year, Iron Fortress Records. Congratulations to both Gourd Embrace and Iron Fortress Records for this. It was well deserved. These dudes are out of Chicago, Illinois. Basically everything I just said about Clairvoyance, just even more hardcore, I feel like. That's the breakdowns on this were diabolical. Cold is the River just being my absolute favorite death metal song of the year. It's not even close. That track rules. Seeing it live at Hotel Vegas, opening for Flesh Rot, just ruled. Like, there were people just flying across the room at full speed, hitting each other, letting all their energy out, and then when it was all said and done, it all led to a massive standing ovation for the band, and I feel like it was well deserved. The album is very, very well rounded. I very much enjoyed it when I listened to it in January. I picked up the tape immediately. It got announced for vinyl. I picked that up immediately. I got them to sign the record. I got to talk to the dudes. I'm hoping they'll be back in Austin sometime soon. Just one of the death metal highlights of the year. If you haven't heard it yet, go out of your way to do so. You will not regret it in the slightest. Had a great time getting to go back to this band's back catalog as well after discovering it too. These dudes have some serious potential, hence why I gave them the Heat Seeker Award. I see them going above and beyond. I see them moving up the card. I see these dudes headlining tours in 3 or 4 years from now. But in the meantime, go and embrace the presence of a malevolent soul, coming in at the number 6 spot. Number 5. Niederdok, Pardon Monsieur. Released on February 7th on Stiglid Records. Denmark, blackened punk mixed with a little bit of death metal. Just nasty guitar tones. Seriously. Fast-paced, disgusting subject matter, violent musicianship, and just this sheer fuck you attitude. Absolutely monstrous. It was such a refreshing take on all 3 of those genres, lumping them together and presenting it in such a way just caught my attention immediately, and man, it latched on. Just absolutely mental. I'm not going to try to butcher the titles of these songs, but I'm going to put them on the screen here. These are the 3 best songs. All of their riffs rule. I can't wait to see these dudes in America at some point down the line, but in the meantime, if you haven't heard it, I talked about it in a Wax Showcase video not too long ago. Go and find that. Go and listen to this album. Go and support these guys. Go buy a tape. Go buy a vinyl. If you live in Denmark or you live in that part of Europe and they have the pleasure of coming through your town, go see them. Go support them. These dudes rule. Just the nastiest blackened punk I've heard all year. Niederdok, Bodhjomensia. Number 4. Drouth, The Teeth of Time. Released May 16th, independently. Just insanely fast, breakneck, blackened death metal from Portland, Oregon. These dudes are some awesome friends of my guys in Void Witch here in Austin, which got them all the way down here to Austin, Texas, and I had the pleasure of seeing them. I had the pleasure of talking with the dudes after the show as well. Those dudes rule. They come through here every couple of years, and I'm hoping after that show they'll come through a little bit more. The musicianship on this album is just beautiful and fast and melodic and just gives you goosebumps at every turn. That intro section, To Hurl Your Thunderbolt Even Unto Death, in a live setting, just gave me shivers from head to toe. Seriously. I was just caught up in goosebumps the entire show from start to finish, but that I feel like just raised it a whole order of magnitude higher. And the tracks on this album flow so well. Every track on this album being 9 to 10 minutes long, and it flows through like it's nothing. Like you listen through a whole 40, 50 minute album, and it feels like no time has gone by whatsoever, is the key sign of an excellent album, where I enjoyed every single moment of it, from start to finish. Every high point, every low point had my undivided attention, and goddamn is it good. Seriously. They got the honorable mention for the biggest discovery award, and I just feel like you should know that. I feel like this was one of the best bands I've discovered this year. I picked up all of their records at their merch table at the end of that performance just because I was blown away. Seriously, go and support them. I cannot wait to see what these dudes have played next. Yeah, if you haven't jammed it yet, go and do so. Drouth, The Teeth of Time. Alright, time for the top 3. Let's do this. We talked about a bunch of awesome bands that I discovered this year. This one was the best one. Number 3, and the winner of the biggest discovery award goes to Lathe of Heaven, Aurora. Released August 29th on Sacred Bones Records. It feels like you took a post-punk band from the late 80s, chucked them in a time machine, brought them to the present day, gave him studio time and said, release an album. Good lord. I felt like I was transported back to the early 80s and when post-punk was at its height, not only in the UK, but in the United States. These dudes are out of New York City. Some of the nicest individuals I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. We saw them at Levitation Festival, the early shows before the main festival at Elysium, and they absolutely tore the house down. I'm so sad I didn't get to record their full set. I'm hoping they'll come back again soon. But it scratches that particular gothic itch that I feel like I get once we get into like October onwards. And that was just on constant rotation through my night drives through the city on my way home from work. Just beautiful music from top to bottom. If I have to recommend any songs from this particular record, it's Aurora, Infinity's Kiss, and Oblivion. I feel like this record easily, if it had come out earlier this year, could have been Album of the Year. And that is not shaming them in the slightest. This was a Vibes Award honorable mention, and good lord, these dudes have just been insane. They've been paving their way through Europe, they've been paving their way through the United States. I see these dudes going on to do big and awesome things in the very, very near future. They're playing Roadburn Festival next year. That's insane. Seriously. Absolutely incredible. Sacred Bones Records did a great job in signing these guys, and I highly recommend checking them out if you haven't already. Blade of Heaven, Aurora. Coming home with a silver medal, along with the Vibes Award. Number 2. Chat Pile and Hayden Pedigo, In the Earth Again, released on October 31st, Halloween, on Computer Students and the Flinzer Records. Chat Pile, of course, noise rock from Oklahoma, easily one of the fastest growing bands in the noise rock and underground scene here in the South, and also just across the world. I feel like everybody that I've ever had the chance of meeting knows about these bands. And then Hayden Pedigo is a one-man contemporary folk project from Amarillo, Texas. So really cool to see an awesome Texas musician getting his due and showing off all of the really, really cool guitar work that he can bring to Chat Pile. As much as I enjoyed Chat Pile's earlier material, this felt like so much more of a moody, atmospheric, stripped-back record, and I enjoyed every single second of it from top to bottom. It's dark and angry in some places, it's sad, it's beautiful, it's quiet in others, and it's just that epic contrast between both. I look for that every single time that I give out the Vibes Award. I look for contrasts and how much it holds my attention. Every single second of this record is right here in my soul. It feels like a soundtrack to any upcoming apocalypse. It feels like you could chuck it over any movie of the sort and it would fit in perfectly. I'm basically just going to say this album is perfect from top to bottom, but if I have to name a couple songs to go through, Demon Time, Never Say Die, The Magic of the World, Radioactive Dreams, and A Tear for Lucas. A Tear for Lucas might be the closest I've actually shed a tear listening to any of these records. It is beautiful, an incredible tribute on behalf of Ray Gunbush. He plays the guitar on that particular release, and the very, very end of that song just brings a tear to your eye. A beautiful way to end the album, a beautiful way to end 2025, and a beautiful album that takes home the number 2 spot. Congratulations, boys. Number 2 in the Vibes Award, Chat Pile and Hayden Pedigo, In the Earth Again. Alright, before we get to the number 1 album of the year, it's time we talk about the worst album of the year. There was no worst EP this year. I didn't listen to enough music where I felt like giving the lowest ranked EP on my list that award didn't do them any justice. I listened to a lot of great music this year. There were only a handful that were really in contention for this record, but one stood out above the rest, and not in a good way. The worst album of 2025, in my humble opinion, is Sleep Token. Even in Arcadia. Dead last. 112th. somehow, Skelly, what's a good way to put this record?
Yawn.
Incredibly boring.
Absolute snooze fest. Good lord. It was just more boring than Take Me to Eden, which I did not think was possible. Seriously, I can only stay awake for like 2 songs. How are so many people going to these shows and staying awake the whole time? Are y'all just hopped up on crack cocaine and caffeine the entire time? Seriously. Like, I understand they have their fan base. By all means, if you enjoy this band more than I do, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and listen to them 10 times for me. Go ahead and give them as much love as you feel they deserve. To me, this was not worth my time. I only wanted to listen to this album once. And that's just... good lord. I know I've heard people describe it as the future of metal. I've heard people describe it as music you can fuck to. If this is music you're fucking to, you're both gonna fall asleep. It's not sexy, it's boring. It's like, I had Ghost on this bottom part of the list there, but the only reason that Ghost didn't make this album is because this album just felt so much further beneath that. Ghost put out just an average, safe, run-of-the-mill record with no real standout moments. And somehow, it was orders of magnitude better than this one. Nothing about this stood out to me whatsoever. My worst album of the year, Sleep Token, even in Arcadia. Sorry. If you enjoy the record, more power to you. It's not my thing. And I don't think I'm going to be coming back to this album again. I'm going to leave this one behind in 2025. Alright, y'all. It's time. You've waited long enough. My number 1 album of 2025, Kill Sim, drum roll please. It's better to let the computer do it than the skeleton do it. My album of the year, as well as the Biggest Return Award, as well as the Best Riff Award, goes to Dead Guy, Near Death, Travel Services, released on June 27th on Relapse Records. Just the angriest record I've heard the entire year. I had the pleasure of seeing them at the White Horse in Austin, Texas on November 1st for the Rock of Ages 20th anniversary show. Mine is signed, as you can see, by the lovely gentleman. It's been 29 years since the band dropped any sort of studio material, and it feels like the band did not miss a step whatsoever. The band is just as angry as they left us, and they have come back with somehow even more anger. Every single riff, every single breakdown carried an immense weight to it. Sheer power and anger in music form. Bar none. No one topped them this year. I am absolutely obsessed with this band. This record was damn near flawless. Seriously. I know a bunch of people didn't enjoy this record as much as I did, but to me, I cannot find any single ounce of this record I did not enjoy to some degree. I'm still finding little pieces of the record that I'm picking apart and enjoying even more than I did the time before. And that is a great way to enjoy a record as well. So much so, again, I picked up I got a signed copy, but also in the last month, I picked up the test press of this particular record from Relapse Records. It was worth every penny. Seriously, Dead Guy is the redemption of 2025, my favorite album of the year, and just an absolutely insane record from top to bottom. Like I said before, every riff hits with just an immense weight. The Best Riff Award is going to the song Kill Fee, the second half of that song, where it slows down, and it feels like they are just screaming in your ear the whole fucking time. Listening to that live, I was just in a sheer state of fuck yeah, the entire way through. That riff hits so goddamn hard. It's insane. Just wonderful. Again, I can say this record is damn near flawless top to bottom, but if I have to pick my favorites, Kill Fee, Barn Burner, New Best Friend, Cheap Trick, Wax Princess. Go through the whole album start to finish. You won't find a bad track on there whatsoever. If this is the band's final album, so be it. They went out on the highest note they possibly could. If the band is not quite done yet, I honestly cannot wait to see what they have in store next, and I can't wait to see how they melt this mind of mine even more so. They may be getting up there in age, but these dudes are still angry, they're still hungry, and they are still here to dominate. Once again, my album of the year, Dead Guy, Near Death Travel Services. Congratulations, gentlemen. Hope to see you guys again on the list soon. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for 2025 here on the channel. I'm going to try to have this video out on either December 30th or December 31st, so this is going to be my last video of the year, but needless to say, we've got a whole bunch of stuff to look forward to next year. I've got a bunch of Wax Showcase videos planned, I've got a bunch of concerts I'm going to, and we're ending this year in an incredible place, and I cannot thank you guys enough for just making this year absolutely insane. Through all the low points of this year, through all the high points of this year, I had you guys behind me, and I absolutely love that. You guys mean the world to me. Thank you so much. We're ending this year with 114 subscribers, up 410% from the year previous. And we're ending this year with over 19,000 collective views, up 500% from the year prior. You guys are absolutely insane. If we continue on a growth train like that next year, I don't know what I'll do. My mind will explode. There'll be blood splatters all over the wall, just in sheer amazement. You guys rule. Thank you for making 2025 such an awesome year for me. Once again, I'm Jaded Ben. That's Skelly. That's Kill Sin living in my computer, haunting my dreams every single time. And we're going to ride off into the sunset together. That's right. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. 2026 world domination. We'll get them next year, guys. All right. You know, that's it. All right. Turn the camera off.